Hey now, ladies and gentlemen. Hey now. Hey now. Hey now. Hey now. Hey now. And hey now. And hey now. And hey now. Welcome to hour number 3 of the line. Talk 99.5. Glad you're here, hanging out with us today. Yes, sirree. I feel like I've been all over the place today. Again, I'm dealing with some kind of sickness. My head feels like it's going to explode. And so, if you're wondering why Andrew's not really making a lot of sense today, that's why. I feel like maybe it's better than it was yesterday, but here's what I'm going to do. Because, John Bird, you and I have a Bible study that we do.
Oh, yeah, I need to
Uh,
tell them I'm not going to be able to make it. I'm having dinner with my son.
oh, are you?
Yeah, and we're going out.
Oh, boo, John
I'm
Bird.
sorry. Yeah, my
John
son. I
Bird
can't
hates
believe he got in the way.
And John Bird hates Bible study.
No, that's
Everybody
always
take
been our
notes.
thing is Wednesday night. I watched the sermon.
Wait, the thing with your sons on Wednesday nights?
Yeah, I do it about every 3 weeks.
Well, okay. Well, we can also probably. Well, we won't move this week, but I'm saying in future, if you've got something that you do, every 3 weeks on Wednesday, maybe we can move it to Tuesday or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
I
we
would,
got a podcast Tuesday.
yeah,
Maybe we do Thursday.
yeah. Hopefully we can figure it out. But I got my son's late Christmas present, a banjo. He wanted a banjo.
Wow.
Yeah, he's into the Grateful Dead now and John Mayer and
Nice.
everything. So,
Well, that's cool.
yeah.
We'll be thinking about you. It'll be all right.
Thank you, brother.
So I do want to note this that they're coming up at 1 o'clock. The mighty fighting Locust Fork Hornets are playing in the Sweet 16 at 1 o'clock today at Wallace State, and I just want to wish them luck because that's my alumni and my kid's playing in the band. They got a pep band there, and he's very excited. So if you're listening to the show and you're on your way to Wallace State to watch the game, man, pull for the mighty Hornets, man. Hopefully they'll win. I hope they do. A lot of games, a lot of high school tournament games going on, and good luck to everybody, I guess, except for the people playing Locust Fork. Not good luck to you, just because I gotta pull for my team. I will say when I went to that game on Saturday. It was stressful because the fans were so rabid and it was so loud. It was just constant chaos. And then Trish and I sat on the front row, so there was a couple times, I don't know, 3 or 4 times where the basketball came flying at us, and I had to protect my wife so she didn't get hit in the face with a basketball.
Man, did you grab the ball and then just sling it over there? And
No,
swish one?
it was very. It was one of those things where you're like, oh god, I wish I would have grabbed it, or it was you kind of slap it away because it happens so quick. You're just trying to stop it, and of course, my wife's over here playing Wordle on her phone, and she's like, guess what this name? Guess what this word is? And I'm like, I'm trying to protect you. She's like, no, it's your turn. You gotta guess. I'm like, if I concentrate on Wordle, like we're gonna die. We're gonna get hit by a basketball. But yeah, they win that game, so that puts them in the Sweet 16 today. Good luck to them, and good luck to my child who always kills it on the drums. You even saw John Bird a little clip from Saturday.
Yeah, in the break room you showed it.
Unfortunately, the kid, good kid and all, but the kid that plays the cymbals was standing right in front of him, so I couldn't get a shot of it.
Yeah.
So I need y'all to pay attention in the pep band next time I'm there. Like, get the cymbals out of Peyton's face.
Yeah, that cymbal guy needs to be, no offense, but he needs to be over there on the backside.
Nah, they're all good kids, man. I'm just messing around. But, yeah, so all that's out there. What else? A White House press briefing coming in with obviously the latest on Venezuelan boats being blown out of the water. You've got the U.S. weighing strikes on Iran. There's a lot of different things going on that could be brought up. We may bring you some of that, or we may just keep it rolling. Who knows? Let me go to Country Philosopher on the line. What's up, buddy?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Hey, man.
Hey, you know what? It occurred to me a moment ago. It's like you and JB together. if you just say you were walking and you saw a diamond on the sidewalk, a little diamond, and you picked it up and you were like, "That's a pretty little diamond," and that's all you're thinking. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to put it in my pocket. But think about if you found that diamond and it had a beautiful setting around it, and it was an actual ring. See, that's what you and JB are. You're the diamond, and he's the setting that holds you in place.
Dang.
And together, you guys make a wonderful piece of accoutrement, maybe for a dinner party or who knows,
I
something like
thought
that.
he was going to go like, you found a diamond on the street that looked like the real deal, and then you took it to the pawn shop, and they'd only give you $15 for it. But, yeah, I
But
agree
look,
with you on the other. Yeah,
I mean, think about it. If you take that diamond to the pawn shop, they're like, look, maybe $15. But if it's got JB hugging it, they're going to up that to at least $75.
Oh, stop it.
That's right.
You stop that.
I'm kidding you. I'm messing with you. Listen, here's why I called. You know how we're blowing these narco boats out of the water? And it's completely justified, right? I feel it like it is. These guys are terrorists, man. They're killing Americans. I think we should take it one step further. I think that we should start targeting all of these buildings full of Indian phone scammers that are bilking American seniors out of billions of dollars a year. I think we should just start dropping some rockets on these buildings and be like, hey, you know what? They took someone's house. They're killing, the livelihood of families. Why not? Why not? It's really the same thing. You can make it make sense.
Yeah, and I actually, Trump recently cut a deal with Prime Minister Modi of India, and it had to do with tariffs and trade and everything else. And at the time that deal was done, I brought up the fact that they should have, in fact, put as a part of the deal, no more Indian phone scammers allowed, and for each phone call that any American gets from an Indian scammer, the tariffs go up 10%.
And it's not just phone calls, man. Look, it's like if you try to join a Facebook group because you have a specific interest, let's say you like AI girlfriends, and you join a Facebook group for that. All these Indian scammers come in, and they're posting their crap, their stupid posts. You're never going to find the right AI girlfriend because for every single one, there's 3,500 Indian scammers out there that you'll never find cyber love. It's just not right. So I think we need to hit these guys, and I think we need to hit them with everything we've got. Blow them off the block, just like we're blowing those boats out of the water. That's me. I'm thinking. So, let's do it.
I'm good with it. I'm good with it. 100%.
All right, brother. Godspeed, man. You guys are a wonderful combination. All joking aside, I want to tell you that since he came back, since JB came back, that the show has a different feel. It just has you can't have banana pudding without vanilla wafers. And you guys I'm sorry, man. I keep throwing these metaphors out there, but you guys you complete each other.
Yeah.
And the show's got a better feel to it, and I appreciate it. So I'm not going to ramble on. I'm like an old man over here. Pretty soon I'm going to try and return some soup that I don't even have. So you guys do your thing. I love you guys. I love listening to you. It's the Country Philosopher. Check me out on YouTube. I might make a video about JB and all of his exploits over the years.
Do it.
I want to know about your bowel movements today, JB. Have they been solid? Any floaters, sinkers, consistency, color? What are we working with here?
I probably have the best digestive system I've had in a while. Everything's good.
Listen, I'm fully rated. I'm service connected for IBS, So I feel you when you talk about it, man.
Yeah, you got to be careful of that diet.
Yeah, definitely. Get that fiber in, brother. All right, you guys have a great day, okay?
All right, buddy. Appreciate you.
Be
He called you a wafer, by the way. He said you were a vanilla wafer.
Well, yeah, you can't have banana pudding without a vanilla wafer.
Yeah. Well, and I will say, with the exception of today and yesterday, which again, I'm sick or whatever I got going on. I have had an extra pep in my step. I can't lie. I mean, it's John Bird has revived me, and I did over the year plus that he was gone. I did everything I could to continue to bring you guys a good show, and I don't know that if I did that or not.
You
Maybe
did, man.
I,
You did.
I think some days I did, and then there was just it's just not the same without you. So it's hard, especially when you're railroaded by it, and it's kind of there's a little bit of when it's not just my producer John Bird, and I think a lot of people, especially people in radio, looked at it as, oh man, it's just a producer, dude. You gotta move on. If you're any good at radio, like you'll just move on and keep doing what you're doing. But it wasn't just a producer; it was a friend, and it was a guy that I had taken and used to build the show. And it all happened by happenstance because you weren't my first producer when I got here.
Right.
The first person they put with me was, I believe, David Sears.
He's a good guy. He's solid.
And he left to do something else, maybe about 2 or 3 weeks in. And they're like, well, we'll give you this goofy guy that causes us all these problems. I think it was, what were you doing at that point? Circa 21, the end of 21, beginning of 22. What show?
Murphy.
You were doing Murphy.
Yeah.
But Murphy's gone at this point.
Oh, after he's gone?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was, let's see. Well, it was Murphy and Val, and then Murphy left. And I think I was still doing the morning show when Richard came in for a little bit. And then they had the opportunity to bring Steve West in.
That's what it was. They brought Steve in.
Yeah. And I mean, they didn't like kick me out or anything. I was very excited, something new and fresh.
Yeah, and I think Steve is a perfect fit for the
Solid. I love
morning
Steve.
show, just based on the personalities and everything else. Like, Steve is a fit for that show.
Yes, he is.
So they saw that as well, I assume, and said, let's move JB to the midday and have him do the 2 midday shows.
Yeah, and to be honest, it's a perfect fit for me because I'm just not a morning guy.
Yeah. But you also had fun doing news and views.
Oh, yeah.
Because you were an integral part in that show as well, because that show was kind of it wasn't very newsy per se, but they had kind of their own style. It was like, this is our interest, and then we'll do this once a day and that. What was some of the things that they would do? They would do like a top 10 list, or is Dale Jackson's things?
Yeah, that's Dale Jackson's thing, was the top 10. And we started doing near the end Tim Melton movie review, and of course Tim came up with the idea for John Bird Plays the Guitar.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it was a lot of fun.
What have you heard from Dale since you've been rehired?
He'll like some posts that I do every now and then, and I'll like some posts.
But
that
he hasn't reached out to you?
Well, I haven't reached out to him.
Oh man, I actually meant to reach out to him because I knew he'd be excited about the fact that you're back. But I hadn't done it. I'll call him tonight, actually, and just because I hadn't talked to him in a while, maybe just touch base with him. Crap! I've run myself into a break. Can I get a call? You're not gonna let me get a call, are you?
Nope.
All right, let me take a break. Kevin, I'll get you when I get back. 205-545-9950. A lot of the line coming up right after this. Wait, you say the singer of this is who?
Yeah, was Cindy Lou Who in the original, in the Grinch from 2000 with Jim Carrey.
How did you know that?
Yeah, I just I love this song, so I just looked up the band, and then it popped up on there that she was Cindy Lou Who, and she did a remake of "Where Are You Christmas," and it sounded basically like this, but
Taylor Momsen
mhm.
is her name. Says former child actress, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Gossip Girl, transitioned to transitioned to music in 2009. The Pretty Reckless is the name of that band.
It's a good rock and roll band.
It is. They are good. All right, let me get Kevin in Alabaster. Kevin, what's up, buddy?
Hey, I was just going to comment on those Indian scammers. The reason they probably haven't been shut down, it's like anything else. They probably have some kind of group that represents them, and they send all kinds of money to Congress for, like, donations for their re-electment funds and all that stuff. And like I said, it's like, why are they going to try to shut down money that's coming to them? That's how they're worth millions of dollars, only working for Washington for a few years.
That's a good question. Are there Indian scammer call center lobbyists in Washington, D.C.? Say it's possible. It's absolutely possible. But
all right, I just want to put my 2 cents on it. It seems that makes sense. I mean, these guys don't get rich because of their charm or some of the common sense things they do. So, got to be something else.
All right, Kevin. Thanks, buddy. It's that's something I've never thought about, but everybody else has got a lobbyist, so why wouldn't Indian scammers have a lobbyist? By the way, I've done this before. I've had people that, and I know this is probably not ideal for you guys to do, but if you have been scammed by a call center or an email or whatever, been scammed out of money in some way in that form, call us and tell us your story. Like, we're not gonna judge you. Like, I don't blame people that get scammed. In a lot of cases, it's elderly people, which makes it even more tragic. But, it's. I think in this day and age, people are a little more onto it. Like, so my wife has got a job where sometimes she will have to reach out to individuals about accounts and stuff like that, but she runs like many companies, like it's like 400 establishments or something like that. And so when she gets on the phone with them, she's like, "Well, you've got or they're calling to make a payment or whatever it is," and they'll be like, "Hey, I got a call from this number. I want to see what it's about." And she's like, "Well, we're with so and so. Which establishment do you attend? Which one do you go to?" And they're like, "This sounds like a scam. I don't know that I believe this." And she's like, "Well, I've got 400 different places that I deal with. Like, I've got to know which one you're from." I don't know about that. Let me go do some research. And sometimes they won't even, like, they'll think it's a scam. And it's a good thing. I mean,
we've been programmed for that.
Yeah.
For so long.
You've seen it for so long, you kind of like, you're just looking for a scam around the corner, and it's, it might be a bump in the road and keep you from accomplishing something such as paying your bill, but at least you're on high alert and not going to get scammed. So, Hazmat Jim is in Leeds. What's up, Jim?
Hey, man, speaking of scams, hey now, I'm part of a group online that participates in keeping track of people's electrical bills and stuff and all, and it's called Alabama Power Corruption. Should be called Southern Company Corruption, but in the last 24 hours, the thing that's come out that's blown everybody up is that, of all places, Alabama Power and all their $26 billion of debt has turned up is in the Epstein files.
Somebody sent that to me, actually. Sent that to me last hour, a buddy of mine, and it says, I guess it is the actual Alabama Power Corruption, letting everyone know that Alabama Power is in the Epstein files and they're in debt $26.3 billion and rake in $2.9 billion a year, according to the documents. Now, and I have not confirmed that. I just saw the post that you saw. I've also seen things such as, and listen, everybody's got a problem with Alabama Power, but I saw another thing where the Captain D's restaurant in Aniana was somehow mentioned in the Epstein files. And I don't know the context to it or whatever, but there are some very random things in the Epstein files that have people thinking, like, what? What is going on here?
Exactly. Well, there's a major class action lawsuit in the works after their, midnight meeting, which turned things over for the new year a few months back. So we'll leave it to y'all, and maybe you can look into it and dig something up.
It sounds good, buddy. I appreciate it.
Let us know. Keep
I
us
will.
in the loop.
I will keep you in the loop, my friend. Yeah, because when my buddy sent it to me, I was like, man, I got to look into that after the show. Like, why, if true, why is Alabama Power in the Epstein files? And maybe it's something we can dive in tomorrow as well, because I was thinking tomorrow we do a little bit of kind of local, maybe state level news.
Yeah, I'd love that because I'm getting screwed by Alabama Power. I would love to, but everybody that works there is great. Don't get me wrong.
What do you mean by screwed?
I mean, my electric bill, I mean, we've deliberately been keeping it down, and I'm not there at the house that much, and our electric bill is crazy. It went up here recently.
Yeah, ours is nuts as well, man. Ours is like freaking ridiculous. You get a bill for like $500, and you're like, I ain't
That's
even been
crazy.
using the heat or the air that much, It's nuts, man. $500 power bill? These people are crazy. All right, let me keep going. I'm going to be up against the clock, but we're going to do what we got to do. Caroline Levitt at the podium now. She's giving her monologue, if you will, but we may just dip in for the questions as they get there. Let me go to Clarissa next. Clarissa, what's up?
Hey, I just wanted to warn everybody. I actually own a travel agency, and one scam that we're seeing right now is when clients don't want to bother us on the weekends. Of course, we're available all the time for our clients, but if they want to book an excursion or they have a question about their booking, they just Google, for instance, Princess Cruises or whatever, and then they ask for their booking number. They give them their booking number. They tell them their cruise has been canceled, their shore excursions have been canceled. They're getting their credit card information and stealing a bunch of money, and it takes months worth of cleanup, and that's even if we can get their vacation rebooked and get that money back. So I just wanted to call and let y'all know about that. If you can use a travel advisor, that's a great thing to do, because we are on call 24/7, and most of us work on commission only. So that is something that we started seeing in the last year that's been a big mess.
That is wow. So you think, does that happen often, you think?
Yeah, especially with our older clients, they don't want to bother us on a Sunday afternoon or whatever. And I tell my clients specifically, look, I'm here for you, and especially now that these scams have targeted the travel industry. If you absolutely, need to text me on a Sunday afternoon, text me on a Sunday afternoon. If I can't get to it Sunday, we'll get to it on Monday. But it's absolutely not worth. They're putting up these fake websites that with the I forgot what the SEO, so that it ranks at the top, and it'll say, Princess Cruises or whatever the cruise line may be, and then they call, and it's just a big mess.
Wow. Yeah, that is crazy. And it's amazing how many different kinds of scams are out there. I mean, they're all over the place. You can't
all the industries, I feel like, are being affected, but we've really been seeing an uptick in the travel industry in the last 13 months.
Crazy stuff. Clarissa, I appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right. I am up against the clock, and I see you looking at me. Can I get Dave from Woodstock? Are you going to be mad at me if I do that?
We're running really long.
Okay, fine. Carrie never did that to me. Of course, I don't think Carrie really cared. I think he just threw it all to the wind and said, whatever.
We have to maintain some semblance of order.
John Bird is still kind of new, so he wants to, he didn't want to come off as coming in and just big D and everybody and doing whatever he wants to do. He wants to kind of be a corporate man for the time being.
Don't you dare.
He wants to stay on Joe Cumulus's good side. Do you feel like you got on Joe Cumulus's bad side when you got canned the first time?
No, he had no idea. I mean, they did this company wide.
Yeah. Okay.
So, it made sense that they would ruin my life.
Yeah. But we revived your life. We made your life
Yes,
complete by bringing
indeed.
you back. So it's all good in the hood. Bottom of the hour, back after this. How long's this song been playing?
Maybe a minute.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, about a minute.
I was in the bathroom
Taking care of business every
Dang.
day.
taking care of business. All right. So we got questions going on at the briefing. Let's dip into that for a moment, and we'll go back to phone calls. Here it is.
About Independence Hall in Philadelphia, the administration's decided to appeal a judge's ruling that in essence was trying to put the slavery displays back, arguing that the federal government believed it had the power to dissemble and disassemble historical truths when it has some domain over historical facts. The judge said it does not. The administration said that you were planning to put up updated interpretive materials and provide a fuller account of the history of slavery at Independence Hall. What more was the administration, or is the administration, planning to add?
I'm not familiar with this specific instance, Ed, to be honest with you, but I will check in with the appropriate people who are overseeing this, and we'll get you a more firm answer.
One other question then. Yesterday in his statement about Jesse Jackson, the president said, despite the fact that I'm falsely and consistently called a racist by the scoundrels and lunatics on the radical left, Democrats all, it was always my pleasure to help Jesse along the way. Where or when does the president believe he's been falsely called racist?
You're kidding, right?
No.
I will pull you plethora of examples. I'm going to get my team in that room to start going through the internet of radical Democrats throughout the years, Ed, who have accused this president falsely of being a racist. And I'm sure there's many people in this room and on network television across the country who have accused him of the same. In fact, I know that because I've seen it with my own eyes. And the president very much looks forward to having an event later this afternoon at 3 p.m. to celebrate Black History Month and to talk about how his policies are advancing opportunity and prosperity for all Americans through record tax cuts, through the Trump accounts that all Americans can access regardless of race. These are a great thing for the next generation of Americans. The president has also awarded hundreds of millions of dollars in additional funding to strengthen educational outcomes at historically black colleges and universities across the country. Again, the president is protecting the hard-earned benefits of the 2.4 million black veterans who honorably served in our nation's armed forces by reducing the black backlog of veterans waiting for their VA benefits and for their home loans through the Department of Veterans Affairs. So there is a lot this president has done for all Americans regardless of race, and he has absolutely been falsely called and smeared as a racist, and I'm happy to provide you those receipts, and we gladly will right after this briefing. Jennifer, go ahead.
You mentioned the $5 billion in pledges for the Board of Peace. Will we be able to get a breakdown of which countries are providing each of those pledges?
Yes.
And which countries are providing troops?
Sure. We're happy to provide that breakdown, and I'm also happy to provide the list of countries that will be attending tomorrow. I know it's more than 20 countries. I know there's a lot of interest in that. I'll spare myself reading you the list of 20 countries from the podium, but we will provide it, and the president will be opening the meeting tomorrow with remarks, and will sort of formally be chairing the meeting at the beginning before he departs for Georgia tomorrow.
And then on the sewage spill, the sewage pipe that broke on the Potomac, can you give us an update on the federal government's response? And officials have told CBS that some of that aging infrastructure is a concern, that this particular pipe wasn't even of the most urgent concern. Do you know if the government is looking into which other pipes could be at risk of collapsing?
Well, the next step in this process is for any of the three local jurisdictions involved, whether that's the Commonwealth of Virginia, the state of Maryland and Governor Moore, or the District of Columbia, to step forward and to ask the federal government for help and to ask for the Stafford Act to be implemented here so that the federal government can go and take control of this local infrastructure that has been abandoned and neglected by Governor Moore in Maryland for far too long. In fact, it's no secret that Maryland's water and infrastructure have been in dire need of repair. Their infrastructure has received a nearly failing grade in the 2025 report card from the American Society of Civil Engineers. This is the same grade they've received 5 years earlier. There has been no improvement under the leadership of Governor Moore. He's clearly shown he's incapable of fixing this problem, which is why President Trump and the federal government are standing by to step in. And for all of the environmentalists in the room and across the District of Columbia, let's all hope and pray that this governor does the right thing and ask President Trump to get involved, because it will will be an ecological and environmental disaster if the federal government does not step in to help. But of course, we need the state and local jurisdictions to make that formal request. That's part of the legal process to move forward. Peter.
So you said that any of the three Democrats just need to ask. A few minutes ago, Maryland's Governor Wes Moore asked. He said, if the president wants me to ask nicely, our response is this. Please, Mr. President, do your job.
To which I say, I'll ask the president, and we will provide you with the next steps. But in all seriousness, the federal government has been preparing plans. The White House has been in contact with FEMA, with the Army Corps of Engineers, with the Environmental Protection Agency. Again, we've been standing by. This is a problem we want to fix, not just for the federal government, but for everyone who lives in the District of Columbia, including all of you. So you're welcome.
To your point about that, there are a lot of events coming up for America 250. The president wants people from all over to come to the nation's capital. Is he worried that by the summer, the Potomac River will still smell like poop?
He is worried about that, which is why the federal government wants to fix it, and we hope that the local authorities will cooperate with us in doing so. Steve.
So what will the $5 billion be used for in Board of Peace, and will that be sort of the down payment for much more money?
You'll be hearing more about that tomorrow at the meeting. If you recall, at the first meeting when we were in Davos, Jared Kushner did provide a very detailed PowerPoint presentation for the vision of Gaza, the reconstruction and the humanitarian efforts, of course, providing local security on the ground. That will be part of the discussion tomorrow, is how can we maintain security? First, you must achieve security to get to prosperity, which is sort of the second part of this plan. So you'll be hearing more about that tomorrow, but I would just point out $5 billion worth of investment. We're talking about reconstructing Gaza. I remember when those words came from the president's lips in the East Room many months ago, and all of you in the press were bewildered at how the president could have such an ambitious goal of rebuilding Gaza, which is obviously a place that has been just turmoiled by violence and chaos for many, many years. But we are well underway in doing that, and it's a historic accomplishment for this president.
Secondly, is the president seeing enough progress in the Iran talks to let negotiations go a little further? I mean, where do things stand after yesterday's talks?
I think you heard from the administration and the State Department yesterday that there was a little bit of progress made, but we're still very far apart on some issues. I believe the Iranians are expected to come back to us with some more detail in the next couple of weeks, and so the president will continue to watch how this plays out. Sure.
Follow up on that. Thank you, Caroline. On these Iran talks, I mean, how much time is the president willing to give it before he is seriously maybe considering military action? Is he willing to give it that full 2 weeks? And has he given the Iranian officials a deadline on when he wants to see a deal?
It's a fair question, Rachel, but I'm not going to set deadlines on behalf of the President of the United States from up.
And then just one more on the shutdown. We're now in this partial shutdown over DHS funding. Has the President personally spoken to the Democratic leaders in Congress? Can we expect to see them at the White House to try to make a deal on this?
Not to my knowledge. He hasn't had any direct conversation or correspondence with Democrat lawmakers recently. It doesn't mean he's not willing to. I'm just not aware of any conversations that have taken place. I do know the White House and the president's representatives have been in direct conversations with both Democrats and Republicans. But of course, Democrats are the reason that the Department of Homeland Security is currently shut down. They have chosen to act against the American people for political reasons. And now we have FEMA workers, the men and women of the United States Coast Guard, men and women of TSA who keep our airports moving, who will be working without paychecks for no good reason other than the Democrats wanting to pick a fight with Donald Trump. And the president thinks that is irresponsible and despicable. He wants the government to be open. We've been engaged in good faith negotiations with the Democrats. Last night they sent over a counter proposal that frankly was very unserious, and we hope they get serious very soon because Americans are going to be impacted by this. Sure.
Thanks, Caroline. President Trump has talked about a forthcoming executive order on voter ID. Is there more details you can provide about for that? And can you talk about any steps that you're taking to overcome court challenges that you've kind of faced in this area before on voting?
Well, as the president said in that Truth Social post, he's discussing and exploring legal options for a potential executive order with respect to voter ID. But this is something he's made very clear he wants Congress to get done. The Save America Act is a common sense piece of legislation that has now passed the House of Representatives to ensure that voter ID is a requirement in the United States of America. This is a common sense policy that nearly 90%
Amen
of
to
the
that.
country agrees with.
Amen to that. So, yeah, you don't want to go with executive order on the voter ID stuff because you will face several court challenges and everything else. But if you can get it done through Congress, it makes it that much harder for them to undo it. You can essentially codify it that way. And that's why the president wants to do it that way instead of just pulling the trigger and say, because at that point, it's easy to overturn executive orders, even if there isn't court battles. But in Congress, you would have to go back through the rigmarole of reversing it, and you likely get it solidified that way. So it's very important that the SAVE Act and the voter ID laws go through Congress. And the Democrats, as you know, are going to fight tooth and nail because they are not going to be able to win elections if elections are fair. Even if elections are 85 to 90% fair, Democrats can win. It's just the fact of the matter, and it's why they hate it so much. 205-545-9950. I got y'all on the phone lines, text line, everything else. I'm going to get to you right after this. Don't go anywhere. All right. Let me hit the text line real quick. Keeping an eye on the White House press briefing. Just asking questions and answers, stuffing things, if you will. On the text line, Joel says, here. He is dead nuts on. The band is back together and better than ever.
Ooh.
Well, that's good to hear. Brian says, hey, Andrew, as funny as hell bit on your podcast, you should have John Bird come in with his hair sticking up and you ask him, quote, did you try to have relations with your AI girlfriend? And he replies, quote, I don't want to talk about it.
That's pretty good.
We could do that. Ray says, okay, I can't do it anymore. I've tried to listen to the line since JB came back, but I can't. Don't like his personality. In parentheses, voice. It was good while it lasted, Skippy.
So now who is this again?
Ray, R-A-E. So it almost sounds like a female.
Yeah, well, Ray, I tell you what. I am going to win you over. You don't have a choice. Just accept it.
If it's not too late, if they haven't already tuned out.
Yeah, and hopefully you haven't, but I guess by that text, it's been recently.
Yeah, I would say you could probably win them over because people that make the announcement that they're leaving are usually people that are secretly listening.
Right, and you know what? The first thing we can do is work on my voice.
Yes, change your voice.
So we're going to go with 12:54. We're 6 minutes to the top of the hour. Andrew, you got some news for us, my friend.
Yeah, she'll love that. I mean, whatever.
I'm not for everybody.
Everybody else seems to be happy. And plus, she called me, or he called me Skippy, which is, I don't know if you know this, but this is what Dixon calls me all the time now for some reason. There's no rhyme or reason to it.
Uh-oh. Is that Richard Dixon masking as someone?
It could be. Could be.
Mm-hmm.
Spook says, what happened? Your show was great with JB. He went away, so it went from great to good. Now it's great again.
Like America great. America.
Make the line great again. Trucker Bobby says, so what happened to Tim Melton? I think y'all really should have him on the podcast. Tim just went off and did some other stuff. He left on his own. He wasn't cut or anything. Christy says, if they call or text me going back to scams, I hang up and call the place directly. 9 out of 10 times it's a scam. Morgan says, my biggest concern is they told me to bring the Walmart one-pay gift cards to the actual sheriff's office in person. So does that mean someone... Oh, wait, hold on. I got to back up. She said, too. She said, 2 days ago, I was almost scammed by someone claiming to be my local sheriff's office. They claimed I missed a jury duty date, and either I had to pay a refundable fine or be arrested. A refundable fine? She said, my biggest concern is that they told me to bring the Walmart one-pay gift cards to the actual sheriff's office in person. So does that mean someone was there waiting for me to arrive and jump me in the parking lot? Super scary.
Dang.
I was literally at Walmart about to buy the cards before I decided this felt too suspicious and didn't go through with it. I have yet to be arrested. Yeah, if you're going to be arrested for something, like, they're not going to call you. They're not going to call you, and they're not going to ask for a gift card. Anybody that asks you to pay in the form of gift card is a scam.
Yeah.
Because they don't want it traced.
If he's talking about a local meeting somewhere, definitely would not do that.
Yeah. Don't do that. Rodney says, on your electric bill, are the heat strips stuck on your HVAC system? What does that mean, John Bird?
Are the heat strips stuck? They get stuck sometimes.
Where do they get stuck at?
On the heat strip system, they're heat strips. They get stuck sometimes. So you got to unstick them.
I have no idea. I'll have to get somebody to come look at it. Bubba Rumble says, stocking the river with brown trout. Talking about the Potomac and the duty problem that they have. Of course, there's Donald Trump having to clean up-ish from the Democrats constantly. Let's see. Boomer says, have you ever noticed the positioning of In God We Trust was changed on our coins during Biden's term? The same timing that everyone we knew as moral began to be protested. The president on the coins used to face the motto. Since 2022, the motto is behind the head Is it ironic that as this happened, it seems to show the country has turned its back on God and half the country's moral values have skewed?
I've got to check that out.
Yeah, I haven't noticed that. I have not noticed that. P. Nasty says, don't get on this here text line talking smack about bird. Them are fighting words.
Dang, he's got my back.
Yeah, dude. We ain't gonna put up with that. Kenny says, I miss an inappropriate carry, but JB is great. Did you know we had dubbed him that? We had dubbed him inappropriate
No,
carry?
I like that.
Because he would say things that were just so out of pocket that I'm like, Carrie, you can't say that. I love Carrie. He was inappropriate. Leslie says, I don't answer my phone anymore. If it's important, leave a message. Amen to that. Walter says, Ray is goofy, JB is good. Kenny says, I was called a month ago by a so-called sheriff and wanted $3,200 in cash and meet at an address in Anniston. I supposedly missed grand jury duty. Yeah.
Dang, that's scary. I wonder if it's the same person.
Don't want to do that. More of your scams and phone calls coming up right after this.